Good morning, everybody. It's my 29 subscribers and anybody else who watches this video. Okay, it is 6:50 in the morning. I think I'm done with all the stuff that I did. So we're just gonna do a random book drawing. Okay. A Love Divine. I've only read a little of this book. The only reason that I bought it was because it had the word divine in it. Because whenever I prayed one time, a long time ago, I think like last year or something like that, that I heard the word divine whenever I was praying. So I saw the book at Book Broker and had the word divine in it. I haven't ever read it before. I just picked it up because it said divine. And I've only read a little of it. So, yeah. So while I was at Book Broker getting some more Dean Koontz books, and then I ran across a book that reminded me of somebody that I had a dream about, which I'll tell you later. It was like the only book I forgot why. I'll have to look at it again, but I had a dream about, and so I bought it. So they have like really cheap books there, and it's a really good place to get books. So, okay. So I've only read a little of this, like I said. Okay, Alexander Ripley, A Love Divine. Okay. The back says, an epic story of love and faith. People. Joseph of Arimathea is the man who gave his own tomb to the crucified Jesus of Nazareth. He is a mysterious figure about whom little is known. In the tradition of the robe and Ben-Hur, Alexandra Ripley, one of the world's best-selling writers of his historical fiction, tells his moving and forgettable story. A Love Divine. Joseph of Arimathea has two passions. The sea and Sarah, the woman he loved. Both of them would carry Joseph from his native Palestine to the decadent realms of Rome to the barbarian lands of faraway Britain. Yet wherever he roamed, Joseph had a destiny that he could not escape. A destiny that would challenge him to move heaven and earth to save his only child, test his courage and faith in a crucible of fire, and finally take him to a place of reckoning called Golgotha, where all history lay in wait. Impressive, lively, Joseph springs to a long and richly realized life in a swirl of violently colliding forces. Jewish tradition, Roman domination, and a fleeting Christianity. Orlando Sentinel. Kansas City Star. Okay. So, my bookmark, if I haven't read it before, I might have, but I'll read it again. I think it's from Positivity. The Power of Positivity. It says, a beautiful day begins with a beautiful mindset. Wake up, take a second to think about what a privilege it is to simply be alive and healthy. The moment you start acting like life is a blessing, I assure you it will feel like one. Time spent appreciating is time worth living. You probably can't see that because I didn't write it in dark ink. So, but that's okay. I can write it in the descriptions. I'll just have to remember to do it. I forget to do that. Okay. Okay, so there's a map of the worlds of Joseph of Arimathea, in case you wanted to see it. Okay. In a small town in the southwest of England, there's a tree, not very tall, that blooms twice a year, at Christmas and at Easter. This is the story of how it got there and the man who brought it. The beginning. According to the reckoning of calendars, many centuries later, it was the year 6 CE or 6 AD, the date, April 8th. The stone walls and streets and houses and palaces of Jerusalem were rose gold beneath the high blue sky and afternoon sun. Light breezes floated the scent of spring from the hidden gardens of the ancient city across the open marketplace on its western hill. A small group of men were standing near the city side end of the agora, as the marketplace was called. Their appearance proclaimed their status. They were dressed in the long belted tunics and loose open front cloaks that were worn by all men, including the indentured servant or slave. But the clothes of these men were made of silk, or fine wool, or thick, smooth linen of the finest weave. They were richly colored and richly ornamented with designs embroidered or braid. Fringe and tassels trimmed their cloaks. The 4 blue tassels on the corners of the cloaks identified the men as Jews. The decoration was ordered by the law of Moses. The man talking at the moment was the shortest in the group by at least half a head. He was not thin, nor was he bulky, but strong muscles made up the vigorous body beneath the elegant silks. He was clean-shaven, as were his companions. Thick, wavy black hair made his head look especially big on his small body. Large, slightly protuberant ears added to the impression of disproportion. His eyebrows were shaggy and dramatically arched. They called attention to his dark eyes, which had extraordinarily clear whites. At some time in the past, his nose had been broken, and it had not healed well. 2 bumps gave it a slightly comic appearance. In response, his face was quite ugly. However, his face was seldom immobile. He was a man of dynamic energy. He spoke rapidly and empathetically. He even listened with energy, leaning toward the speaker, reinforcing his statements with expressive, encouraging movements of eyebrows, eyes, and mouth. While he smiled, observers forgot that he was ugly. He had strong, large, evenly spaced white teeth in a mouth that stretched wide and seemed to be hungry for life and enjoyment. This was Joseph of Arimathea. Joseph was in mid-sentence, but he stopped speaking for an instant when the fragrance of lilies overcame the strong odor of spices that dominated the air. Then the sweetness was gone, and he completed the words he had half said. Cargo by ship costs 1/10 for transport and arrives 10 times faster than by caravan. Winter is behind us, and the sea ports will soon be open. Open and perilous, said one of the men in the group around him. With guards against bandits, a caravan is certain to arrive. Your ships are at the mercy of the wind and storm, Joseph. I'm too old to start gambling. A third man laughed. Except with dice, you mean, Eleazar? All of them laughed, including Eleazar. Springtime was always intoxicating. A man could put his worries behind him and believe that only good things lay ahead, even when experiences told him otherwise. Okay, I'm going to stop there so this video isn't that long. Oh, that's my Facebook telling me what's going on Facebook. Okay. I think that was 14 news. Okay. Okay. So that's all for this video. Thank you for watching.